Us as capable people, we're not we're not stuck. We're just still loyal to the old version of ourselves. And what I mean by this is because you can see exactly what that next level looks like for you, and yet something keeps pulling you back. You have outgrown where you are, and still you keep returning to it. And it's not of confusion, it is of lack of clarity. Your behavior just hasn't caught up with who you are decided to become yet. And when and what's really happening here is your brain feels safer with familiarity and it doesn't with expression. So let's break it down because that's what I want to talk about in this video today. Because let's really name what's going on. Let's really because we've already decided. We've already but your identity hasn't yet. You are still not stable there yet. So you move in a decision, but you're not moving in the identity. Let's go deeper because what's really going on here is familiarity means it's predictable. You know what's going to happen next. You know how things are. You have that concept. No worries. However, when it comes to the expression, that's where the exposure is, the judgment, the unknown. So your brain needs to choose. It has to conserve the energy it has, or does it, or then avoid risk and to also avoid risk. So your brain would rather keep you safe with what it knows than expand into something that it hasn't practiced yet. Right? Because familiarity feels safer than expression. What it knows is okay than what it doesn't. So those internal behaviors, those things that are it's used to, it's just going to keep showing up. Because there are moments where we know exactly what we need to do next, but we're still sitting there, tweaking it, adjusting it, rewording it, you know? Still in that limbo stage. Should I, could have, would have, what's the deal? What do I do here? Having that understanding about the safety that the brain wants us and the thing that we need to do that is unfamiliar, and knowing that when we have that feeling of the hesitation, that feeling of the overwhelm, that feeling of the self-loathing, the self-doubt, the procrastination, the fear of am I going to succeed? The fear of of failure, all those things is just because the brain is not familiar with that yet. And it's not because you don't know what to do, because for me, I knew what to do the moment I'm, but I wasn't. I kept delaying it because I wanted visibility, right? I, I, I've gone through this breakthrough, this transformation, and then the way I show up and the way I handle things, I knew that, okay, oh, okay. There was a time this wasn't my truth. Now this is my truth. And I went on to do the training to be able to support others to get to the same transformation that I did, knowing that, okay, to get to do that, I needed it to be visible. But I hesitated. I hesitated in the posting. I hesitated in the messaging. I hesitated in what about if my colleagues, what about if people that know me see me and then what are they gonna say? Oh, I'll post it, or oh no, let me re-record it again. Oh, let me do that again and again. Oh, let me try and fix it. Maybe this thing's not working this way. Maybe it's that way. This was what kept showing up for me. Because my brain was like, no, we're cool like this. We've done the work for self. We've expanded, we did that for ourselves, right? Now we want to now go out there and let people know what we do and how we can support. And it's like, oh no, this is too much. And that's the thing. The decision has been made. But the identity that I had was not of someone who shows up and does their thing. Someone who okay, this is what they do. And that space right there, that delay, it wasn't preparation. I was just protecting myself. My brain was just wanting to protect me in that moment, trying to support me in there. And I thought, yes, I'm doing a thing. The desire. And I worked with a lady who does beautiful creations. Like, when you have like a program or things like that, she would like make it look beautiful and structured and like laid out beautifully. And she had this, no one knew she could do that. It's like having a shop, but no one, like, there was no shop front. Like, no one knew exactly what the deal was because of that fear of, oh my goodness, I don't know, I'll be awkward, I'll be this, I'll be that. So she didn't put herself out there. And it wasn't of a lack of discipline because this lady knew her stuff. She had her thing. She wanted a visibility, but she was avoiding the exposure because she did not want that judgment. She didn't want those, like, what were people going to say? What are all those things going to happen? Like, let me just stay where I know this is comfortable. It is fine. So she avoided what was really needed to help move the needle. And then when the shift happened, when with all that realization of, especially for me, right? So instead of like thinking, okay, how this is the desire that I want, because like your brain, right, would trust what you repeat. And I was repeating like what people gonna say. Like, I'm not sure. Like, ooh, have I got it? Would I be able to support? Like all those things. It's ringing in my head. So obviously, because it's been repeated, it's gonna keep showing up. Not because I didn't decide. You didn't want to decide. It's just because that's what kept being repeated over and over and over again. So every time you act in that alignment, you're making the newer version of you stronger, more believable. Because even if you're not feeling the feeling and having tools in place to support those inner chatter that's happening, because that's the thing. It's like, it's not a fight. It's like you have to put things in place, have sayings anchored, focusing on the desire we want, to start stretching oneself to align to the new version of you want more of, that is more believable, that you can then start doing a thing to support that. So it's not a case about trying to feel ready for visibility, but start to increase your tolerance for it. What is the exposure to just showing up right there? Is it just putting a static post to start off with? Start sharing ideas? Maybe doing like a B-roll of you just doing something and then put a text overlay. Like, start getting used to the tolerance of whatever it is that you're wanting. Then diving in head first and like rumbling through and then like panicking. Have that baby, like, okay, what can I do next? What can I think of next? What is that thing that I can do that's fresh, that's elevated, that can just move me? That one baby step, that one thing that could help me move. Because you don't go back because you've lost. We go back because that's known. We're used to it. A client of mine wanted to, like, she's gone up levels to become fully qualified, right? As a sign language interpreter. But there was one more hurdle, the final stage. But she felt like she had to get all her ducks in place. She did it to like do some more practice and some more training before she goes and do that final thing. Because this, she feels, is familiar in a sense that I know what I'm doing here. Let me go and just do this and do that and do that before I go there because it might be extra. They might give me to do exercises that I don't even know what that is. That's the reason we tend to go back to what we're used to because we don't really know what's in there. We don't really know how, per se, or we might have a vague idea, but we have this other big thing. But when you, for me, understanding and seeing other people that express themselves and how they show up and seeing, okay, I can try this out first. I can start off by showing up this way and see what feels better. And then you see people doing like all these nice transitions that like, no, baby, we do we do this bit here that works for us than what this will are. And then trying that one and then taking it to the level of like, okay, I'm doing a bit more. I'm expressing because the thing is expression requires exposure. So you how do we then expose ourselves? Because it feels risky. When we're exposing ourselves, that's the risk. Or is it someone else who I supported in like they wanted more opportunities. They felt like they were not getting the opportunity, but they were scared of a certain domain, even though the level they were and entices them to be able to do that work. They've gotten the training, they even did extra work to be able to be in that position. And it was a case of this fear of like the title of the role and that feeling so risky for them. So they delayed the task. They delayed doing the role. They delayed putting themselves out there. They delayed being seen to be chosen to do that. The version of you want requires that visibility, requires people knowing you're there. I was in a room where doing a training and all of a sudden there was something that happened that they needed someone to come in. I felt like I had more capacity in terms of showing up, but the person who got it, when we were in that Zoom room, guess what? My cameras were off. My commenting were off because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just like I'm spelled whatever. The person that was chosen kept showing up, kept like, yeah, responding and commenting and stuff. They were visible. They made people know they were there. I was just in that background there in the corner, taking it all in, just listening out. But the person who kept showing up and sharing out and asking questions and making things known was chosen. So the version of you want requires that like you need that visibility. You need to show out. So what did I do next time? There was another opportunity where I went on to this program and they were promoting like another further program, right? And the thing was, oh, just engage, just see whatever happens, and there might be some prices or whatever. No, they didn't even mention it. They just said, just engage, and if you stay at the end, there'll be blah, 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 blah. They hinted there might be something, but didn't actually say there'll be prices. And I knew that I really wanted to be in that next room. And what they were quoting or what they were at the time, I could not, it wasn't a priority, let's just put it that way, for me to be in that room. It's something that, yeah, it could wait in terms of like other things needed my demands and focus. And then when we started, I genuinely wanted, what they were saying made sense to me. But the old me, how I would have handled it would just be like, yeah, nodding my head, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I was so present. I was engaging and commenting. And it wasn't about fake commenting. I was like really like looking, and like when they were saying stuff, I'll rephrase it. Even though sometimes I'll write stuff down and it wouldn't totally make sense because maybe I couldn't spell it right or whatever. Hey, I freed myself. Like I knew the intention of whatever that end bit was, I want me a slice of that. And this is the other thing. A friend of mine that we both said, okay, we're going to do this thing together, was also in that room. And she was like me, or like how I was, quiet, just engaging, learning, absorbing. Nene was there, yes, drop a one. I was dropping the one. Yeah, like this, even when they didn't even say anything, I was commenting, I was engaging. And then the end came and they said, okay, so we're going to choose three people to now join the thing. I was like, oh my. And again, there were over 1,000 people in this room, 500, something like that. There was, no, yes, about 1,000 in the room. Like, I think they had like two Zoom connect, something. There was over 1,000 people. And by the end, when they were now like saying, okay, now we're going to pick three people, I was like, oh, it'll be great. I was like, yes. I was like, challenging and stay not. And then I was there like, okay, what's going on? They called the first person and then they said a few things like, yay, like the third one, what did I hear? Nene, Nene, Kufu. I was like, what? I'm going Papa. Got it for free. Something I was like, I'll wait till next year and get this thing. No, I got it now at that time. And the only reason, the only difference was I did not allow me not being able to spell certain words stop me. I didn't allow like other people like, oh, here she goes again. She's saying another word. She's this, she's that. I'm like, no, there is something at the end. And I'm getting value and I'm giving my perspective. I'm like getting, okay, because it's not just like they say what, I'm reflecting on what's been thought. And I got that. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. It's the only way. When I started out just showing up and like posting, and like at the time, it was like a blue ocean conversation. People didn't understand what I was talking about initially. And I think maybe I wasn't even making sense of it. Being someone who was extremely shy and was told that I couldn't be an interpreter because I was dyslexic. The struggle and the things that I had to go through to get to the other point when I now got I became that interpreter. And then now knowing and seeing other colleagues in the same boat as I was. When someone raises their hands and like my heart is pounding. When things are being said, I'm like, what the heck are you saying? And my manners in my body language, the way I was showing up was telling people I can't trust you to interpret me. I don't know if you understand me. I was leaking energy because of the beliefs I have that was on repeat. That was what was showing up for me. So having now gotten through that radical shift and then the transformation, and then seeing other colleagues and seeing other people where I was, I thought, okay, let's go and do this, right? And I've done the training, right? Now a lead dual neuroencoding specialist, 2-star, 3-star in a minute, end of April, celebrating that fact. A law of attraction coach, NLP practitioner, all those things. And then now, another phase, let's go tell people what we do. And then it doesn't make sense. Like worried about, okay, what people gonna say? Oh, like, what's she doing? She's prancing around. What's she saying? I had to do the work for self because I was so familiar with just working on me and just dealing with like my colleague here and there and all that, that I had to like expand that familiarity. I know that if I'm going to help that one person, that one soul, I needed to be out there. I needed to have that space. And I kept showing up and kept showing up. And then I would like collaborate, like, what's the word? And then I come back again and then do the thing. Then I decided to come up here on YouTube to show up every single day. And then being able to explain what I do became easier. That when I went back on Instagram and started like just sharing what it is that I'm doing, it's now making sense. Because at the end of the day, I had to let go of what others would think about me. I had to let go of like, oh, now what's this now? I had to let go of the judgment of people not even saying yes. I was coaching so many people, and the people that I truly desired and wanted to help were a case of I don't want to be seen needing help. And when I helped other colleagues, it was more hush hush. And only recently that am I taking a group of colleagues on this experience we're having right now. And to see them light up every single week and be like, yay! Oh my goodness. If I had just stayed in my cocoon or stayed in my lane, there would be no way that I would have like gotten there. I went to spaces and said, look, this is what I'm doing. And people like, okay, where do I sign up? If I'd hesitated because other colleagues would be like, oh, what's she doing? How would I have been able to get there? So I say this like we need to get out of our own way. Understand is just protection from the brain with all those inner chatter that's going on, all those things that are happening. It is just a version of us that the brain is just wanting to keep safe. And then having that understanding and keeping our eyes on the thing we want, we're able to then move with it. Because we don't need more clarity. We have that. We have that desire. Is it getting to that next level? Is it becoming that fully qualified person we want? Is it getting the home, the partner, whatever that is? We know that. We might not have the full how yet, but in knowing, that's great. We just need to become someone who can handle being seen in the things that we already decided. We get to be that person and just keep telling ourselves, this is the desire, this is the thing that I want. And then working with the brain to start tolerating that next exposure. Because right now, you are not stuck. You are choosing what feels safer. That's what the brain does. It's just what's feeling safer. It chooses. And you have the power, the desire to understand. Yes, the only way is up, but that up has its ups and downs. The muscle of like the brain telling you, oh, bro, really, who you think you're like them? You think you're who? Look at how they like fantastic. They're who? Blah blah. Da, da, da. All that's going on, and being able to let that nagging thing sit on the back seat, and you take the driving seat and say, no, I'm in charge now. I'm ruling this thing. I'm taking this on the ride. And if you want to come along, I know you without even my permission, you're gonna come, but you're gonna be in the back seat. You're not driving no more. I'm taking the reins. I'm doing the driving from now on. I'm doing this with you there. And while you're there, shh, I'm taking it on. And we move imperfectly, failing forward if needed, doing the thing one step at a time as we keep going, knowing that we've got this, knowing that everything that we want to do, somebody else has already done it. There is no what is all for us to just align to the decision we've made and the desires that we want. And then figuring what it is for us. Is it our next book for us? Is it our next program? Is it that next community of like-minded people that are doing the same to help me get to that level, to expand that familiarity to the exposure of the things that I want? That's where we need to move next. I am Nene. We do this every single day. Remember that your voice matters and it's your time to use it. Bye for now.